Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley. Thank you for being here with me on this Wednesday evening. Before I get into the show tonight, I just want to give an update to a story that I started the show yesterday. This is The Atlantic being the fake news rats that they are. So just to fill you in very quickly, The Atlantic editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, he posted this article: the Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. I'm not going to get into all the details of the story. It was bad news for the Trump administration. Looked bad. I don't know how the editor-in-chief got into this Signal group chat, but he did. They're investigating. However, I believe it was a staffer, a National Security Administration staffer. Now, it didn't look very good, but they've now released, The Atlantic has now released the text messages that I discussed yesterday, where Vice President Vance and Defense Secretary Hegseth disagreed with the plans to strike the Houthis in the manner that they were going to. They wanted to maybe push the date of the strike back, potentially confront the president about these new thoughts, see what he thought, maybe change the plans. Obviously, The Atlantic is milking this for everything that they can, all while admitting that they were wrong. So here is the updated headline today. Here are the attack plans that Trump's advisors shared on Signal. So it's no longer war plans, because they made it out to seem like they were texting all these highly sensitive, classified documents, and he was wrong. So he had to walk that back, all while the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic is still trying to embellish the story and make it look even worse than it is. The important thing here is the strikes went off without a hitch. So don't let this miscommunication happen ever again. End of story. That's it. I just wanted to point out the fake news of it all. And there's more fake news coming up on Nightly Scroll, because CNN is forced to admit that they talk so much about Orange Man being bad, but that's not actually how the American people feel. Plus, it is a really bad day to be a pedophile and or illegal immigrant in the United States of America. And I say and/or because one of the stories that I have for you tonight is about illegal immigrants who are also pedophiles, but their time here is coming to an end. Thank goodness. Plus, social media star Alex Earl claimed she lost out on a $1 million deal after she posted a pro-Israel message on Instagram. We'll get into all of that on Nightly Scroll coming up. And they were forced to confront a really hard reality. They're forced to admit that they're living in an entirely different reality than the rest of us. So listen to this clip. They're talking about Trump's approval ratings and how great he is.
Let's start with this. Historically, you talk about Trump being sort of unpopular. What are the numbers showing us?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's important to do a little bit of reality check and take a little different spin at the numbers. I'm going to do that right here, because all we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one, and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024. What are we talking about? His net favorable rating right now comes in at -4 points. Compare that to where he was when he won in November of 2024, when he was at -7 points, or March of 2017, when he was at -10 points. So when you compare Trump against himself, he's actually closer to the apex than he is to the bottom of the trough. And of course, that's so important because Donald Trump, historically speaking, has had his numbers underestimated. So I think it's very important to compare him to himself to understand he's actually more popular now than he was when he won, or certainly where he was at this point back in his first term. The bottom line is Trump is more towards the ceiling than he is towards the floor.
I'm laughing at all the up-down motions of, what's his name? Harry Enton over at CNN. He's their numbers guy. He's their stats guy. And they bring him in, and sometimes he's forced to tell the truth, because you can't, when you crunch the numbers like they said they were doing, the numbers show that Trump is extremely popular. And he said the word underestimate there. Do not underestimate Trump, because when you compare Trump to Trump, he's just going up, up, up. So I just love that clip because they kind of said the quiet part out loud. We always talk about how Trump's so unpopular, but that's not really the case. It's like we always say this, but the numbers don't really back it up. So fake news CNN, they're back at it. And I love when they're forced to report on the truth, the facts, because you can't fudge the numbers. They have to admit that they were wrong about Trump. Because we don't regret our votes. He's going up, up, up in popularity. So I love to see it. Now, the FBI has announced a release of documents related to that 2018 congressional baseball game shooting that injured Congressman Scalise. FBI Director Kash Patel released this information on X earlier today. Breaking news can report the FBI has provided the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence that all requested documents related to that baseball game in 2017, 2017. These documents are sought by Capitol Hill officials for almost 8 years. Why hide it for 8 years? And he went on, I don't understand why it took so long to release this. You would think that this attack, it was like a crazed Bernie Sanders supporter, opened fire on the congressman. He targeted maybe conservatives. I don't know if he could tell if Steve Scalise was personally targeted, but Steve Scalise was shot. So it's curious, why not release the documents? Why did it take so long? So I'm happy to see that these are coming out. It's such a tragic event, but of course, a Republican was shot, but it could have been anyone on that field. So this should be a bipartisan effort to release this information in the name of transparency. And that's what Kash Patel is working on with the FBI here. So I'm very excited for that. Deputy Director Dan Bongino followed up with this on X as well, saying these documents have been stonewalled from the American people for 8 years, not anymore. When we said it's a new era at the FBI, we meant it. Exactly. We haven't done the screech in so long. That was really perfect. So sorry, I didn't do a trigger warning for people's eardrums, but oh well. And this is a good thing. We've got the adults back in charge here, and they're going to need to be on their game because illegal migrants and immigrants, they are wreaking havoc on society. This is a horrible story. This was a cruise line. This was Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. A teenager was attacked by an HIV-infected illegal immigrant. Now, I'm not going to share all of the gruesome details with you because it's horrible. It's sickening, but this was a 14-year-old boy who is in the sauna by himself until 2 illegal migrants entered the sauna and molested him. Now, thankfully, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has been on the case. There are ICE detainers on these 2, and they will be deported. She said, we will get these sickos out of our country. It's such a shame to think that this could be avoided. These people did not need to be in the country. These people did not need to be on the cruise. Why not? It makes me so sick to think of all of the people who have been hurt by illegal immigrants in this country. They come here. This is savage, disgusting, evil behavior. And it's, on one hand, I'm happy to know that we have law enforcement agencies in this country that are actually going to enforce the law, but it's too late. The damage has been done. And on this topic, there's this legal back and forth in terms of what the Trump administration can do and what they can't do as this border issue rages on. Back in 2021, then President Joe Biden signed an executive order that denied states and local governments any authority to reject refugees in their towns and communities. So when Joe Biden and border czar Kamala Harris were at the helm and they were flying migrants to wherever they desired, these states and local governments, they couldn't say no. They couldn't refuse them. I mean, your hands are tied. At that point, Biden signs an executive order saying, we're sending these people to your communities. Deal with it. That's essentially what he's saying. Deal with it. Your schools are going to be overrun. Your communities are going to be overrun. Deal with it. And not all of these states and communities, by the way, signed up to be sanctuary cities, because we saw this in Springfield, Ohio. This wasn't just New York City and Chicago taking these migrants and, dealing with the consequences of their own actions. These were migrants being thrust upon communities that really couldn't handle this massive growth. But I want to show you this headline. So now there's all of this back and forth, because based on what Biden had going and now what Trump is trying to do to roll back all of the problems that were brought on by Biden's open borders, there are judges now that say the Trump administration must take in refugees and pay for their housing. This is because these decisions by Biden's team and Trump's team, these decisions contradict the legal claim that presidents have the full authority over who gets to cross the U.S. borders. These judges already approved that these people were going to come over, these refugees, under Biden. So it's all happening in the courts. There's all of these contradictions. So hopefully we come to a conclusion here, because it's the American people are suffering in the meantime. It's a burden on these communities. So it's all going back and forth. And, these 3 judges in California, they're saying, there's 40,000 refugees that President Biden let in, and we have to care for these people. Why? Why can't Trump just repeal it and say, no, we're not doing that? So anyway, it goes back into the courts. Thankfully, Trump's lawyers will likely repeal this. They're not going to go through with this. We don't need to necessarily house these 40,000, but based on the laws that are on the books now, this is what these left-wing West Coast judges have come to the conclusion on. So the battle continues, unfortunately, in the courts on the border topic. And California, being a border state, has certainly had to bear a lot of the brunt of this migrant influx. Of course, they are a sanctuary state, so this is what they asked for. But Gavin Newsom has asked for a loan of $3.4 billion to provide for health care for residents and illegal immigrants. $3.4 billion. This is because the system that they have in place, California, they can't take care of this many people. To anyone with working brain cells, this is not shocking. You invite millions of people over the border, and, thousands of them are in California. The system is not built for this amount of people. And not only that, but healthcare should go first to American citizens who need it. Maybe there are American citizens who can't afford healthcare. Healthcare is astronomical. Why don't we help American citizens first? But Gavin Newsom is willing to go into debt to make sure that illegal migrants have the care that they need. But it's not just Gavin Newsom. Here's Congressman Sherman defending Medicare for migrants. Watch this.
You cannot treat a family by only treating some family members. If you don't treat COVID in a woman without documents, then her children who are U.S. citizens are going to get COVID. And that's going to be much, much worse. But we do make sure that the people who live in the city of Los Angeles have the basic health care that they need so that we all don't get infectious diseases.
Oh, okay. So we can go billions of dollars into debt to take care of migrants so that they don't get sick, so that we don't get sick. Got it. So why are these people coming over the border to begin with if they're posing this much of a risk? That's my question. If we're worried about migrants getting us sick, then maybe we should have a better vetting process. Maybe if it's a problem that we're getting sick with COVID and they're passing it and all these things, like maybe we should have thought about that before they got here illegally. And not only that, but this is the Democrat Party who likes to follow the science, as they say. Kids don't have a very hard time with COVID. It's really unhealthy people and elderly people who struggle with COVID, and children really don't have too much of an issue fighting it off. This is just statistically. So if this Democrat knew that, I mean, maybe this would undercut his reasoning here for going into debt over illegal migrants and their access to Medicare. It's a clown world. But I will say there's some good news on the illegal immigration front, and here it is. So over in Wyoming, the governor, who actually doesn't even agree with this ruling, has allowed this to go forward. Wyoming is now requiring proof of voter residency and citizenship to vote. Makes sense to me. I mean, why not ask, do you have proof of residency, proof of citizenship in order to vote? This is all we're asking here. It's not racist. It's not all these other terms that they like to say. Like this, it's common sense. When I used to live in New York City, every year on election day, I was shocked because I'd go in to vote and they would just say, I would register to vote, of course. I would go to my polling station and I said, they would ask me my name. Hi, I'm Hayley Carania. I'm here to vote. They would find my name down on the list, check it off and say, yeah, you're good to go. And I said, you don't need to see my ID. They said, nope. Anyone could just go in and say, I'm Hayley Carania, and then vote for Joe Biden or whoever against my will. Like, why wouldn't you want to vet this process? Why wouldn't you want to make sure that the people who are voting are actually who they say they are? Again, this is common sense. I don't know why people on the left cannot figure this out. But I moved to Tennessee and I was very happy to show my ID when I went to go vote. Yes, make sure that my ID matches. They even made sure that the address on my ID matched the voting registration. And they were helping people too. Like if their address wasn't updated on their card, their ID, they were helping people fix it and make the changes to make sure that it was all by the book. We love to see this. So Wyoming, good on you for making this move against this crazy voter ID debacle where people are coming in, they're voting for, there's illegal immigrants voting on the voting rolls, there's dead people on the voting rolls, clean it up, and they have a really good start there in Wyoming. So I'm happy to see this. Now, I saw this meme on social media. This is on the border front because we're ending on the good news here with, you can't be an illegal immigrant to vote in Wyoming. Now, the Border Patrol, the official account for the Border Patrol, posted this on Instagram. How to enter the U.S. illegally. And when I saw this post, there was an option to swipe. So I swiped. Okay? I swiped. And then it said, why did you swipe? I was sitting there and I'm like, why did I swipe? I swiped because it was an option to swipe. I didn't swipe because I want to enter the U.S. illegally. But I did find that very funny. The U.S. Border Patrol, they have quite the sense of humor. So, morale is up among the Border Patrol agents, hopefully. So I like to see that. Now, here's something a little shocking that I saw while scrolling on X today. North Carolina State Rep Allison Dahl is a Democrat, and I won't show you her photo yet. Because I want you all in the chat to maybe guess what color her hair is. I'll give you a hint. It's not one that occurs in nature. Okay? This Democrat, and I'll just tell you a little bit about her while you all guess in the comments what color do you think her hair is. She has introduced 2 bills. One that will repeal the laws that protect minors from genital mutilation surgeries. And then another that will repeal the North Carolina Parents' Bill of Rights. Shocking, isn't it? So the first bill, it's an act to enumerate the rights of parents to direct the upbringing, education, healthcare, and mental health of their minor children. You would think parents should be in charge of their minor children. This woman, no. She thinks that children should just transition on their own with the help of other adults in their community who are obviously grooming them. So let me go through the chat here. Here are some of your guesses of what color hair she has. Blue for sure, purple, neon green, rainbow hair, lime green. I say blue, purple, purple, green, rainbow, violet. Hot pink, someone guessed. Whoever voted hot pink, Fly Give, I think, in the chat, voted hot pink. Let's see it. Hey, that's a color that does not occur in nature. It does not occur in nature. And it seems like pink is my favorite color. I actually like more of like a peachy pink, but I think anyone who wears one color head to toe has some kind of a mental illness.
It's always the crazy eyes.
It's always the crazy eyes. She doesn't look mentally stable, but I think you can have a favorite color. But I think if you wear it literally head to toe, like literally all over your head, your glasses, your lipstick, your earrings, your scarf, your shirt, it just gets to a point of obsession. So I think we can all agree that this person is maybe not of sound mind. However, people in the North Carolina area voted for her. She's a representative in the state house, and she wants to take rights away from parents. So there you have it. Here's another story out of the Seattle suburbs. There's always great stories that come out of the woke Seattle suburbs. This is Shoreline, Washington. And they wanted to put together this Coffee with a Cop event. Coffee with a Cop is supposed to bring police officers and community members together over a cup of coffee where they can talk about certain issues. Sounds good, right? Well, Pilgrim Coffee Shop, or Coffee House rather, they raised their hand and they wanted to host the Coffee with a Cop event. Here's the problem. Well, the problem, if you're a leftist in the Seattle area, Pilgrim Coffee House is owned by the head pastor of Epic Life Church. His name is Keith Carpenter. And on the church's website, it states that they believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, which it is. So now members of the LGBTQ community in this Seattle suburb have now accused the city of picking a bigoted and anti-LGBTQIA plus venue. They demanded that the event be hosted elsewhere. Ultimately, the event was just canceled over all of the backlash. But the owner of this coffee shop went on Jason Rantz's radio show. Jason Rantz is a conservative talk show host in the Seattle area. And here's what the coffee shop owner had to say. He said, "We serve anyone who walks in the door. I don't know if they're LGBT. We don't ask questions. It's a non-starter for us because nobody's asking questions at the door. Anybody who walks in that space will get the same exact beautiful, generously hospitable treatment. And they will probably have the best cup they'll have all month or all year." That's what he had to say. How can you not get behind that? Isn't this what this community is fighting for? Equality? Don't you want to be treated equally? This coffee shop, regardless of the owner's religious beliefs, wants to serve coffee. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you have hot pink hair. Doesn't matter if you're gay, if you're straight. Doesn't matter. Come one, come all, have coffee. Come one, come all, have coffee with a cop. But no. The crazy leftists in this area, they don't want equality. They want to win. They want to bully religious folks who have these beliefs. They want to bully them into not hosting certain community events. They want to bully them and protest. They want to get their way. It's not about fighting for equality. It's about fighting for them to win. So very unfortunate that the Coffee with a Cop event was canceled there. But I love to see that the coffee shop owner was just sticking up for his beliefs. And not only that, sticking up for the right to everyone to have a great cup of coffee. So I know whose side I'm on. Now, I want to give an update. Hopefully this is the last time I'm ever going to talk about Snow White. So I'm sure you're all sick of it. I'm sick of it too. But there's an important update to the whole story. Obviously, we know this Snow White movie. It is a live action reboot of the classic cartoon, the classic Disney cartoon we all know and love. The love story. It was recreated to be this feminist, woke reboot. And then don't even get me started on the CGI or AI dwarves. I mean, they're trying to be so politically correct, it bites them in the ass. It's like they come full circle. So anyway, Rachel Zegler, who played Snow White, she has been known to be not so bubbly on the red carpet. She's making issues. She's on her social media. She's making these posts about Free Palestine, and then she got backlash for that. And then 3 months later, following the presidential election, she posted F Donald Trump. She also said, "May Trump supporters never know peace." She posted that on Instagram. We should never know peace. So Disney, essentially, they realized what this woman, what this actress had done, which was essentially Bud Light. We saw this Bud Light boycott not work out so well for Bud Light, where they lost however much, I think it was like $7 billion in revenue after they had trans activist and trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney star in this ad for them. So when you alienate half of America, it spells trouble. And Disney executives, they started to kind of pick up on this and say, this might be a problem for us. So they actually hired a social media guru for Rachel Zegler, the actress who played Snow White. This is after she's been bashing Trump supporters on social media. The producer, Mark Platt, ended up flying to New York to have a sit down with Rachel Zegler. They're going back and forth saying, you got to cool it on social media. We're going to alienate a lot of people from watching this movie. And guess what? He was right. So now Mark Platt's son, Jonah Platt, was kind of like fighting with people on Instagram in the comment sections. He's getting flooded by, Free Palestine people. And someone commented on his Instagram, "Your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No, shame on your father." Yes, of course people have the right to free speech. However, when you're promoting a movie, it would behoove you to not alienate half of the people who might come to your movie and give you money. So here's what Jonah Platt said. Again, this is the son of Mark Platt, the producer of Snow White. He said, "You really want to do this? Yeah. My dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and to do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film. She hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged." I agree with this. The original comment said, it was such a reductive take. Your dad flew and yelled at a 20-year-old girl. And it's like, no. Jonah Platt flipped it and said she's a 20-year-old adult. This is an employee of Disney who's potentially ruining the outcome. And she did. But she posted on Instagram that it was a #1 movie, despite absolutely tanking in the box office. It only made $43 million in the first opening weekend rather. And here's a video of her watching herself on the big screen, and the theater doesn't look too packed, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I didn't see anyone else in there. It just looked like it was Rachel Zegler and her friend or whoever was filming her. And I saw something very interesting online. You know, Rachel Zegler, she's watching this movie by herself, and I've been covering this story from the right's perspective, right? It's, you know, she's bashing Trump. She's, you know, making this like feminist movie out of something that it doesn't need to be. So I understood the boycott, right? Because I understand that people on the right would not want to see this. Someone else pointed out that the left is also boycotting this film because Gal Gadot, the actress who I think she plays the evil queen in the movie, she's Israeli and she fought for the IDF. So the left, Free Palestine people, and maybe fans of Rachel Zegler are boycotting the movie because of Gal Gadot, and then the right is boycotting the movie because of Rachel Zegler and her anti-Trump stuff. So we have two actresses in the movie. They have like, you know, competing political views, maybe. I don't even know what Gal Gadot's political views are. But one is pro-Palestine, one is pro-Israel, and it seems like everyone was boycotting the movie at once. So maybe that's the reason for it. But on this topic of being loud about your support for Israel or Palestine on social media, it's interesting how the backlash happens. And, you know, this is a very odd story, actually. So maybe some of you know who she is, maybe you don't, but Alex Earle is a massive social media star. She is the influencer. So if you don't know who she is, just know that all companies now have this influencer marketing strategy to make money. They want influencers and popular people on social media to promote their product. It's, you know, Alex Earle's promo code for this brand. She's in Super Bowl commercials. She is the it girl. She has 4 million followers on Instagram. That's a lot. She's got 7.3 million on TikTok. So she apparently struck a deal with this company called Gymshark. Gymshark sells athleisure and other gym wear and other gym products. And Gymshark agreed to pay Alex Earle $1 million in exchange for 3 videos on TikTok, 4 videos on Instagram, a photo shoot, and an event appearance. I actually think that this collab is a little weird. Alex Earle has a great body, but she is admittedly like never in the gym. I think she's just like naturally thin. She'll post gym videos like maybe every once in a while, but I feel like Gymshark, from what I know about this company, they partner with like fitness influencers, and Alex Earle is not a fitness influencer. So that just goes to show you, if you can strike a deal with Alex Earle, you take it. So Alex Earle agrees to this, posts the content on her page. Then she posted this. She posted a Stand with Israel infographic on her Instagram story. She said, "Now and always we stand with the people of Israel." And then Gymshark backed out of the deal. Gymshark didn't want to do the deal with her anymore. However, they actually claimed that they never even had a contract with her. They never even signed a contract. Now, something tells me there's something fishy about this, because there's no way that Alex Earle, who has 7.3 million followers on TikTok and does these deals all the time, doesn't sign a contract. So she is now suing Gymshark, saying that they dropped this deal because of her pro-Israel social media post. And just to fill you all in, if you don't know her, she does not post about politics at all. This was a very random post of hers. So she does not touch politics. This was very out of the ordinary for her content. So here's my hot take on all of this. I think Alex Earle's lawsuit, and by the way, She has now settled with Gymshark. Gymshark is giving her the $1 million. I don't think that this lawsuit had anything to do with standing up for Israel. I think she posted these videos. She didn't get her money. The lawsuit was about getting her money. I've seen a lot of conservative influencers saying, you go, Alex Earl. Thank you for standing with Israel. Thank you for speaking out. Thank you for not backing down. Thank you for suing Gymshark. I don't think it has anything to do with politics at all. And it's all about getting her money back. She posted the content. Apparently there was an agreement for $1 million. She sued the company, got her $1 million. She'll probably never post about Israel ever again. And that's my hot take on that. I do want to get to the most fun part of the show, which is when I scroll through my phone. It's that time. It's scrolling time. I love it. Okay, so Conor McGregor, you may have seen this, but he's announced a presidential run. He wants to be the president of Ireland. Even CNN reported. Conor McGregor, he's got his sights set on the president of Ireland. And not only that, he's a very Trumpian figure. And we know that he visited President Trump at the White House just recently for St. Patrick's Day. But Conor McGregor he's like a border hawk. He really has been red-pilled on immigration. He has said that Ireland is at the cusp of potentially losing its Irishness. He said that. He said that Irish voices are being abandoned and that rural towns are being overrun by immigrants. And here's the numbers. So Ireland is a country of just over 5 million people, and they saw 141,000 immigrants arrive just in 1 year. This was back in 2023. And now there were some riots in Dublin in 2023 because Algerian nationals, there was a stabbing attack at the hands of Algerian nationals. Children died in this stabbing attack. So Dublin, there was all these riots in the streets because of the death of these children and also the other people who died in this random attack. So Conor McGregor wants to make Ireland safe again. He's basically he's seeing what is working for President Trump, and he says, I need to bring this for Ireland because he's seeing what's happening in his own home country. Like, this is not good. We've got to close our borders. And it's not just Ireland, too. Italy's president, she's got a closed border mindset. I mean, this isn't, people on the left in America, they think that this is so evil. Every country has strong borders. It's like only us who thinks it's like racist and all this stuff to not have strong borders. So will Conor McGregor become president? I don't know. But he's being investigated over speech. So it's not just a border thing, but it's a speech thing. So after this attack, this stabbing attack, he took to X and he said, he said, Ireland is at war. He said, Ireland is at war. We've got it. We can't let this happen. And now the Irish government is investigating him for his speech online. Essentially, if you go against the government in any form, they have a right to investigate you and maybe worse, maybe throw you in jail. So he's not only standing for the border stuff, but the free speech as well. And this TikToker, she pointed out something very funny because I don't know if Conor McGregor will become president. He actually needs 20 of the 234 members of the lower and upper houses of parliament to vote him in, to even get on the ballot. You can't get on the ballot unless you have a little bit of support within the parliament there. So I don't know if he'll be on the ballot, but this TikToker pointed out how hilarious it would have been for Rosie O'Donnell to leave the United States in such a hurry. She left on January 15th. She said, Trump is going to be the president. I have to get out of here. how funny would it be if Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland and then 6 months later, Conor McGregor becomes president? And she ended the post by saying, "Miga, make Ireland great again." That would be just poetic justice. I don't know how else to put it. If Rosie O'Donnell left the United States because she hates Trump so much, moves to Ireland, and then gets essentially another Trumpian figure in office, that would be hilarious. I also don't know if Rosie O'Donnell knows she does have family in Ireland, but Ireland is a very Catholic pro-life country. And I think a lot of the reasons why people hate Trump so much is the attacks on women. So I hope she enjoys Ireland, and I hope for Rosie O'Donnell's sake that Conor McGregor gets in there and F's you-know-what up, because it would just be fun to see. I love it. All right, I've got two more videos for you, but it's one more trend on TikTok. Again, this is going to be the moment where if you don't like videos of children, cute videos of children, you might want to avert your eyes, because this is cute. So there's a trend going on the internet where parents are setting down, it's a mom, a dad, and their young toddler. And they set down a placemat or a paper towel, and the mom gets a cookie, dad doesn't get a cookie, the kid gets 2 cookies. The test is to see if the child will give his or her extra cookie to the parent without. So let's see how well or not well this is going for some families.
1, 2,
3.
Whoa, I got 2!
You got 2? I got 1.
I got 9.
Aww.
Aww.
She said, "Oh, never mind."
How many do you have?
2.
Daddy, what do you have?
I don't have a cookie.
You have no cookie?
Mm-mm.
I don't have a cookie.
Aww.
Wait, what?
I have a cookie.
I have
You do
one
have
cookie. Should we share?
No.
Look, you have 2.
No, sister.
Should we give one to Daddy?
It's mine.
Should we give one to daddy? He says no.
But we failed as parents.
They said we failed as parents. They said, "Do you want to share with daddy?" He says no. That's a test, and they failed the test. Now, to restore your faith in humanity and parenting everywhere, I will show you examples of success here.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you got 2 cookies. Oh, I have 1. I have a cookie.
Daddy got 1 cookie, and let's see how many I got, okay? Oh, no.
Oh,
I didn't get any cookies.
Mommy didn't get 1.
I'm showing.
It's okay.
A winner.
1,
2,
1, 2,
3.
I didn't get any.
Aww.
Thank you so much. That was so nice.
Mommy didn't get a cookie. He starts immediately crying and then gives his cookie to her. So nice to see that it's not all kids that are spoiled rotten. But this reminds me, do you remember of that? This was before Jimmy Kimmel was totally woke, but he did those hilarious videos around Halloween when parents would joke that they ate all of their kids' Halloween candy, and then the kids would either freak out or they would say, like, "It's okay, mommy, like, you can eat all my candy." This is like a updated version of that trend, but very cute. And that is all the time I have left for you tonight. I want to remind you to subscribe. I want you to subscribe to the Bongino Report, where you can watch this show live. Of course, this is the video exclusive version of Nightly Scrolls. If you want to watch as I scroll, please do. I hope to see you here, especially in the chat. But if you want to listen to the show and you'd rather listen, you can subscribe and leave a review on any podcast platform that you prefer, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Plus, if you want to work with me on this show and you want to sponsor the show, just a reminder that you can go to BonginoReport.com and sign up to do that there. So I look forward to that as well. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.